Hello world, good morning, afternoon, or evening to you, wherever in it you may be. Nick Banks again for All Things PlayStation 4 with another review. Today we are looking at INISDE. When the game begins, it opens with some trees in a forest and some leaves falling down on the screen, and you can hear some wind blowing around in the trees up there, and you'll probably just sit there and stare at the screen for a while. I mean, that's what happened to me. There are no button prompts at the start of this game, and I thought I was just looking at a cutscene that was taking a while to get going, when in actual fact I pressed some buttons, wiggled the sticks around a little bit, and the boy came tumbling down the hill, and away we went. And I have to say, from the very start of this game, as soon as I started controlling the little lad, running around, jumping, hiding, sliding, falling, and tumbling some more, the game actually feels and controls like a very well put together, highly designed game, despite the fact that it's, you know, your left to right affair of a side scroller that a lot of us have become used to. INISDE reeks of quality, and it's very clever that they've actually managed to do that given the extremely minimalist aspects of this game. The sound design is minimalist, the colour palette is minimalist, but very cleverly used to highlight the boy. He's got the only real colour in the game, which is his red t-shirt. So you'll never lose him on the screen, but that itself is a sharp contrast to the drab, depressing backgrounds of the broken world behind him. Despite all these minimalist choices that Playdead have made to create the world of INISDE, it's still just so damned atmospheric. And how have they done this? Well, most notably for me is this low hum that you get in the background if there's a threat or something hostile nearby. Think about the end credits of Paranormal Activity. You can see no obvious threat on the screen, but you've learned that this hum is indicative that there's some bad news on the way. And just think something like... And yeah, sure, it's creepy, it gets into your head, but that's fine, because that's exactly what INISDE is going for. It's a very sinister and mature and adult game. You've got your careful use of lighting, a minimalistic colour palette, and this use of sound. They're all expertly blended together in this wonderful atmosphere soup, and it's going to provide you with a game that you're not going to forget in a hurry. And make no mistake, INISDE is the most atmospheric game of the side-scroller genre that exists now, and the same could be said of Limbo when it came out, and this just proves that Playdead are true masters of their craft. And just as the icing on the cake, without spoiling anything, the final chapter of this story is in such sharp contrast, aesthetically, to all of the preceding sneaking about and carefully crafted tension. It just means that the final crescendo of the game sticks in your mind all the more. Playdead are very smart developers.
Yeah, but Nick, this is a game review, man. Tell us about the gameplay. You haven't gone into the gameplay at all.
Yeah, I know I haven't gone into the gameplay at all, and the reason for that, I mean, I will in a minute, but there's really not much to say about INISDE's gameplay. It's your typical side-scroller affair, really. You grab your box, you pull your box from left to right, you get up there, and thank God for that box, because I've been trying to figure out how to get up there for the last 5 minutes. So that looks a bit dodgy. Should I get away from it? Should I move towards it? It's on the right-hand side of the screen. That's the direction I'm going. I should really go over there. You know, it's your typical side-scroller affair. Watch any YouTube video and you'll get the gist of INISDE in around 2 minutes. However, INISDE is a game version of a well-delivered sentence in acting. That's an interesting thing to say, isn't it? INISDE is the video game version of saying it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Without saying a single word, INISDE has a lot to say for itself. The imagery and the thoughts that it will conjure in your mind are very evocative, and this is where the brilliance of Playdead's design ideas come in. Not only does the environment and the mind-controlled slaves of this world reek of Orwellian influences, when I say Orwellian influences, I mean things like 1984, Animal Farm. If you're completely unfamiliar with these things, just do a quick Wikipedia search. But for a lot of people, they will know what I mean by Orwellian influences. But there's simply so many visually impactful moments in this game, you may as well be watching a short film competition winner. And the mature tone of INISDE and the surprises that lie in wait for you deliver an experience, as I keep saying, that will not soon be forgotten. So the buzzword of that last part was the word surprises. It's one thing that Playdead are very good at making, and they did it to me time and again on Limbo. Lots and lots of surprises, and they're very clever at figuring out what the player is likely to be thinking, the thought processes of the player at certain times, and it's that understanding of player behaviour that allows them to leverage a fantastic sense of timing, and they will get you every time you think everything is fine and dandy, hunky-dory, and you're just on a simple walking segment, and it will catch you by surprise, and it will get you going, oh my god, very quietly. I guarantee it to you, that will happen to you at least once in this game, and as you lean back in your chair in shock at what has happened. And lots of little bits like this make for a lovely surprise in another way, in that I couldn't tell at several points if I just screwed up and died, or if I was just looking at a very worrisome cutscene. So with its drab colour tones and the frankly horrific deaths that you can put the poor boy through, Inside would run the risk of being too morbid to play, if not for an exquisite sense of risk versus reward. And what I mean by this is that you get such a rewarding feeling from defeating an enemy, of which there are very few, without actually fighting it, or proceeding where the game is attempting to stop you. It's quite a sensational thing to feel, and not many developers out there have the intellectual know-how to inspire that kind of feeling within a gamer, and if anything, Playdead deserves a bit of respect. I take my hat off to them for understanding the player so well. But what about the bad things in this game? This is a review after all, so I gotta look out for some bad things, which in actual fact was very difficult to do given the simplistic nature of a side-scroller. I've covered a majority of the game so far, so there's really very little left to talk about. There were some puzzles in there that were simpler in actual fact than how they appeared on the surface, but that's just my brain's fault, overcomplicating things, overthinking things, and finally going, oh god, I've been a fool when I finally do figure it out. Something that is actually a bad aspect, probably the only aspect of the game that I can pick out that is bad, is given the drab, dark, gloomy nature of the game, there came a point where I thought to myself, I give up squinting at the screen, and I turn the brightness up on full. Because there are certain aspects of certain puzzles that you just can't see. I don't know if it's my telly or what, but I had to turn the game settings up to full on the brightness just to be able to see what was going on to figure out the puzzles. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a very minor gripe. It doesn't qualify as completely bad, because obviously once I set the brightness up, then I was sorted. So let's wrap it up here. There are so many things about Inside that will probably set it apart from any side-scroller you will ever play again. The faceless characters, the minimalist but impactful art design, the mature and shocking tone and nature of the game, the ending that you'll never see coming, and the ending that changes if you collect all of the game's secrets. The list goes on. So I'm going to give this game a 9 out of 10. And you may be a little bit puzzled as to why I'm giving it such a high rating when it's such a simplistic game, but after you've played it, I have no doubt that you will agree with my choice on the score there. To really understand what I'm talking about, you just got to experience it for yourself, and it certainly deserves your attention. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and it's almost as if a lot of the Playdead team are into their post-industrial dystopian literature. As literature is an art form by no stretch of the imagination, this game deserves to be recognised as a work of art itself. Right up there next to Bioshock. A bold claim, I know, but play it, and you will see. So this is Nick Banks for All Things PlayStation 4. As usual, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please chuck us a like, comment, or subscribe. If you're feeling really crazy, you can do all three of those things. And I will see you guys on the next video for All Things PlayStation 4. Peace.